Oh, yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie Motherfucking Boyd. And on today's episode of the Ambitchious podcast, we're going to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is how to reinvent yourself at any age. This is going to be an amazing podcast. It's going to be so juicy. It's going to be inspirational. And I promise, pinky swear, that if you listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth and you actually put these things into play, your life is going to go to ambitious levels. But before I begin, I want to just remind you that every month we're doing a 7-day free trial of the Ambitchious app. It has been the most incredible last couple of days of my life, where actually while I'm recording this podcast, we're midweek into our first 7-day free trial of the Ambitchious app, and the women are freaking loving it. So if you want to sign up for our next month's free 7-day trial, scroll down to the bottom of the show notes wherever you listen to this podcast and just follow that link and sign up, and you will be invited in and given all of the details. But the Ambitchious app is, in my opinion, one of the most incredible things that I've ever created. It is what I am most proud of in my entire career. I know that you're going to say, like, Katie, but you've done so much in your career. This is really what you're most proud of. Absolutely 100% yes, because I really feel like I'm finally there. Like, I have finally arrived with what I have deeply desired to do with women for the last 20 plus years that I've been a coach. And it is hitting all the beats for my clients over there on the Ambitchious app, but it's also hitting all the beats for me, because it's important for the leader and the coach to also feel like the HBIC. So head on over to that link, sign up, and we will give you all of the details, and we'll email you and we'll get you situated so that you can experience the 7-day free trial, because I know that you're going to fall in love with it, and I know that you're going to be part of that community. We call it the Bitchterhood. Okay. How to reinvent yourself at any age. Well, the first thing that I want to talk about is like what reinvention actually is. Okay. So if you go to the Webster's dictionary, reinvention is the action or process through which something is changed so much that it appears entirely new. And that's what reinvention really is. It's going so far to the other end of the spectrum that people, and maybe not even yourself, recognize yourself. And for a lot of us out there in Ambitchious land, you're being a broke down hoe. You have seen your day. You are washed up. You are not creating the life that you desire. You're not hitting the goals that you deserve. And sometimes you got to just flip the fucking script and do some crazy ass motherfucking shit to step into your power and to remind yourself who you are and why God put you here on this earth. And remember, like, you can reinvent yourself at any age. You can reinvent yourself on a Monday. You can reinvent yourself on a Thursday. You can reinvent yourself during Kwanzaa. I don't give a shit when you desire to reinvent yourself, but there's no perfect time. You know, I have so many clients, and remember, I've been doing this for 20 plus years, and I have so many clients that are like, I have to start on a Monday, where the Monday is also the first day of the new month. I'm like, when does that happen? Like once every blue moon? If you're waiting for these perfect parameters of when to actually like step in your power and stop being a foolish dingling, then you're probably going to be the same mediocre meh that you've been for the last 5, 10, 20 plus years. And this is not a dress rehearsal, y'all. This is the Broadway debut. Okay? So you only get this one spin around this earth in your meat puppet, so you better make it good. And that is why I invented this whole movement, this Ambitchious movement. And this is why I come here week after week, even though I'm not getting paid to do this. And I don't really, it's a lot of fucking work. But I love speaking to the women out there that are just like one see you next Tuesday hair away from being great. And maybe like the crazy shit that I say will inspire you to step into your power and reinvent yourself so that you can be the HBIC of the rest of your life. Okay? Stop waiting for the perfect time. You can reinvent yourself at any moment. And there's really two reasons why people reinvent themselves. Like when you see these people, like, oh my God, did you see like this person's like a totally new person, is a totally different person. There's usually two reasons why people reinvent themselves. The first is the person that's about to reinvent themselves feels like, they're kind of lost. Nothing's making sense anymore. They kind of feel like washed up, kind of not so fresh. You start looking in the mirror and you start to see the bags under your eyes and the cellulite hanging off the back of your ass, and your bank account doesn't have as many zeros as you really want it to be, and your house is falling apart, and your relationships blow, and you haven't got laid since the Reagan administration. It's time to reinvent yourself if you're feeling like that. And the second reason why people step into this reinvention energy is that they're not reaching their goals fast enough, or the goals that they have set for themselves just feel so unattainable. And that's the time to step into your power and be like, you know what? No one's coming to fucking save me. It's time for me to step the fuck up and be the HBIC of my motherfucking life. So I'm going to give you a rambling freak, a bunch of different ideas of how to reinvent yourself. And I want you to start thinking about them and taking the ones that resonate with you the most and just start applying those things. And I promise you, if you do that and you don't wait for the perfect time, that's when you will step into your most ambitious life. Okay, you guys ready? All right. Put on those rubber underwear and those nipple tassels, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. All right. So the first way to reinvent yourself is to create the highest version or vision of yourself. I talk about this in my book. If you haven't picked up a copy of my book, go to kbfc.com and book and buy a hardcover copy, and I will sign a beautiful note inside, and I'll send you a little gift. Or if you're part of the app, the audio book is on my app, and that's the only place where the audio of the Ambitchious book lives. But one of the most important things that I talk about in Ambitchious the book, and I talk about this all the time on my app and in my coaching sessions with my clients, is knowing what the highest vision or the highest version of yourself is. What does that mean? Okay, if you were being the highest vision of, fill in your name, okay, Bonnie, Carol, Lisa, Shaniqua, okay, whatever your name is, okay? If you were being the highest vision or version of yourself, how would you show up? What would you wear, right? What would be your style? How would you speak? How would you hold yourself? What would your hair look like? What would your body look like? How would you feel every day? What would you be doing all day? Who would your friends be? Where would you eat dinners out with your significant other? What kind of car would you drive? What kind of home would you live in? What kind of zip code would that home be in? What kind of vacations would you take? What would your dream job, if you were living the highest vision or version of yourself, be? What kind of wine would you drink, or champagne? What kind of sheets would you sleep in? Obviously, in the book, there is a detailed way to do this work. But the first thing is what really fucks people up that I work with is like, they don't even know what they want. They don't even know what they desire. They've had such a mediocre motherfucking life that they have never even thought about those things, because they're just trying to make it through the day without a skid mark in their fucking undies. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's a problem. And the only way we're going to do this work is if we actually sit down and give ourselves a journal and a pen or a notebook, and you actually really daydream and you think. Or maybe you think of like people you admire or that you look up to. Like, what do they do? What are their highest visions? You can see, you can follow people on, social media, or, you can watch their TV shows if you're into like, someone's life that is an actress, or maybe it's, some singer or a rapper, or a model, I don't fucking know, okay? But that is also a great way to kind of create that life. I'm not saying copy people, but it's just nice to get inspiration. You can go on Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I was actually, before I get on here, I am my goal for my garden, because you know I'm a homestead and hoe. One of my goals for my flower garden and like my landscaping is I want to have like a gothic garden. I know this sounds crazy. Kat Von D, remember she used to be like the tattoo girl, that she has a makeup line and whatever. She has a gothic garden, and I'm not like so goth like her where I dress like that all the time and I have like tattoos on my face and shit. But I'm a little Wednesday Addams. I'm a little Morticia. I'm a little dark, as you guys know. And I thought her gothic garden on Pinterest was so inspiring, but I want to have a black and white garden because I love black and white. It's like my favorite two colors. And I was just, writing down like all the seeds that I'm going to buy and the bulbs that I'm going to buy and like how I'm going to landscape this and how I'm going to do that. Like, I know that that's something so small, guys, but it inspired me, right? To look at her garden. Now, do I want her life? No, I do not. But it's just taking these little pieces from people who inspire you and kind of bringing them into yourself. So the first thing to do to start to that really reinvent yourself is to think of, what is the highest version of me? Who would she be if I was being that person? The next one is, and I talk about this a lot in the book too, we talk a lot about this on the app, is know your perfect day. So if you get up in the morning and you force yourself to eat breakfast, and then you force out a dump, and then you force yourself to go to work, even though you hate your job, and you drive to work in your little shitty broken down Hyundai, and you go into your cubicle, and you just can't wait for lunch, and you can't wait to get the fuck out of there, and all the people that you work with suck, and everyone's just mediocre mias, and everyone's just like non-inspiring, and everybody just gossips about each other. And then you drive home, and then you pick up your kids from school, and you shake them around a little bit. Maybe you give them a couple whacks in the back of the car because your just life sucks so bad that you just want to hit your kids. And you go through drive-through McDonald's, and you eat a 20-piece chicken McNugget with sweet and sour sauce, a large fry, and a Diet Coke, because that Diet Coke's really going to help you. And then you go home and, you look at your husband and you're like, I wouldn't fuck him with a 10-foot pole. And then you watch Netflix for 4 hours while you drink a bottle of Boone's Farm, and then you pass out. If that is your fucking life, that's a fucking problem. And I know that this is so many people's lives because I've been doing this for 20 plus years, guys. I've heard it all. But just because you may be living in that shitty rat race energy life does not mean it's forever. But if you know how you desire your perfect day to be, and you write it down, and then you start to do the things that it takes to get your life to match what you wrote on your paper, okay, then you can be ambitious. Then you can reinvent yourself. Then you can go to the next level. But until you sit down and you write your perfect day, okay, like, I wake up at 6 a.m. without an alarm. I gently walk into my kitchen and I start my coffee. I do my ambitchuals. I do my ambitious abundance affirmation. I do my Palo Santo while I pray. I call in my power posse and I set my intentions for the day. Then I go to, the Peloton and I do an hour class, or I go and do a walk outside. Then I come in and I meditate and I do my breath work. Then I shower and I get ready for the day, and then I serve people all day, and I add value to people's lives with whatever my hobby, interest, talent, gift, whatever business is. And then, I go and meet a friend for lunch because I only work for 3 or 4 or 5 hours a day, right? Or I meet my husband for dinner at one of our favorite restaurants, and I go for a walk with my little dog, and blah, whatever it is. Okay, obviously I'm getting way fucking off topic, but I want you guys to really jog your mind, because if it's been done before, it can be done again. Why do you think that you're any different from anyone else in the world that is living an incredible, ambitious life? You're not. The only things that they're doing that is different than you is probably, and we're going to get into this, is they're not allowing themselves to be distracted. They know what their highest vision is, and they know what the fucking life is supposed to look like. And it ain't forcing yourself to shit in the morning so that you don't poop your pants on the way to work after you drink your Dunkin' Donuts coffee that's filled with fucking mold. Okay? All right. The next one is reinvention. How to reinvent yourself. You got to be fucking honest with yourself, bro. So many of you motherfuckers out there are just lying to yourselves. You're lying about I love my husband, but I secretly don't want to have sex with him, and I secretly want to put a fucking pillow over his head at night and kill him. Okay. My body's not that bad, really, because your ass looks like 2 wads of chewed up Bazooka Joe fucking bubblegum, and you haven't done a squat since fucking Bill Clinton was jizzing all over Monica Lewinsky's blue dress. Okay? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're a youngin'. And if you do know what I'm talking about, then you probably need to fucking stop lying to yourself, okay? Or, you lie about your relationships. You lie about your familial relationships. I have so many girls that are like, well, I love my mother, but she's a fucking tyrant and she's a fucking gaslighting narcissist. And I'm like, what? Just because she's your blood doesn't mean you have to be nice to her, and doesn't mean you have to even have her in your life. Or you're like, but I've been friends with this person since kindergarten. Well, not all friendships and relationships are supposed to be forever. Okay. And maybe those are the people that are actually holding you back because you're not creating space. And we're going to get to this in a second. You're not creating space in your life to have new, fresh energy to come in. Right? So the next thing is just be fucking honest with yourself. Look at your goddamn self in the mirror and be like, listen, you're being a fucking asshole. You're not doing what you say you're doing. Your relationships are low vibrational frequency. You're fucking drinking too much. You're snorting too much coke off of fucking random people's ass cracks, whatever you sick fucks are into. Okay. You're drinking too much. Your house is a fucking mess. You're fat. You're not taking care of yourselves. I don't care what it is, but you gotta fucking hold the mirror up to yourself and be honest. Because so many of us, including myself, we're lying to each other. We're lying to ourselves about so much, and then we're surrounded by a bunch of assholes that are just yes men that all they just blow smoke up your ass all day. Oh, you're beautiful. You're not that fat. You're not that fat. There's fatter people. There's people with like worse relationships. No shit, Sherlock. But I'm ambitious. I want to have the best relationships. I want to have the best body. I want to have the best of everything. That's my desire. And that's my fucking birthright. And it's your birthright too. So be freaking honest with yourself, right? The next thing is, don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you do desire. So many people tell me, like, I'll be like, well, what do you want in life? What do you desire in life? And they'll start fucking rattling off all the shit that they don't want. And I'm like, did I fucking ask you that question? And I will ask any girl on my app, ask any of the women on the Bitchterhood. This is how I talk to people, because I don't have fucking time to use coded language, and I don't fuck around. I get right to the point, because like, if you're not living your most ambitious life, you're wasting your fucking precious human life. So I just get right quick to the point. And we have to focus on what we do desire. So make a list, a goal list of everything, even if it's like so audacious, you don't even you're like, well, I'm only make $30,000 a year, so how am I going to make $3 million? Like I said, if it's been done before, it can be done again. Okay? So make a list of everything you desire, even if it's only a handful of things, and you just focus on those handful of things until those things become a reality. I don't care how long or how short it takes, you gotta fucking focus. And you have to focus on the things that you do desire, and stop thinking about all the shit that could go wrong and all the shit that you don't want, because that is just bringing more of that into your energetic field, you fucking ninny. Okay? So get your fucking head out of your ass and start focusing on what you do desire and not what you fucking don't want. Okay. The next way to reinvent yourself is to plan and schedule daily. So every night before I go to bed, I come down to my office. This is my podcast room, but I have an office that I share with my husband. Sometimes I come in here, just depends. Sometimes I go in my really nice, beautiful office. Just really, again, it depends on how I'm feeling. And I sit down right before I go to bed, before I start to relax, and I plan out my entire day the next day. So we call it, in the Ambitchious movement, we call it the bitch list. So there's 5 things usually, okay, that are an everyday occurrence, okay? It's an everyday occurrence. And if you're watching, hold on, I'm going to get it for you. If you're watching at home, or you might be listening to this podcast, which is totally fine. But if you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, I actually have, this is my ambitious lifestyle. Okay. Now, the first couple things on my ambitious lifestyle little write up is my bitch list. So every day, my bitch list is as follows. Every day, 7 days a week, I have to get 10,000 steps a day. That's what makes me feel good. It makes me not feel like a fucking lazy shit. Okay. Because most people don't even get 2,000 steps a day and they wonder why their ass is the size of 2 axe handles, like lengthwise, not, you know what I'm saying? Like width. So 10,000 steps a day. Then the next thing is I train my body every day. So it's like yoga or Peloton or Pilates or weights, or I have a hydro rower. So that's 5 days a week. And then my 2 days off are still active rest days, which is I'm still getting my 10,000 steps. Then every day I work on stretching and flexibility. Because as you get older, I don't know about you, but I feel fucking crotchety. And I just really need to stretch. I like to do myofascial release. I like to do the foam roller. I like to do some yoga stuff. I have a whole like little routine that I do every day, and that's really important to me. And then the next thing is breath work every day with 20 minutes of meditation. And then last but not least, it's kind of like a threefer. So it is drinking a gallon of water. It's however I'm eating that day. So I may be eating OMAD. I may be eating 2 meals a day. I might be on a 48-hour fast. I don't know. Every day is different. And then taking my supplements. So that's my bitch list. So if I get my 10,000 steps a day, I train my body, I work on my flexibility, and I stretch and I release my fascia, I do my breath work and meditation, and I drink a gallon of water, and I eat healthy, and I take my supplements, then anything else that I do that day is fucking superwoman status. Because just doing those 5 things, even though it's kind of like, more than 5, but it's like all wrapped up in the same, that shit is hard, dude. Like, it's hard. And as you get older, it gets harder and harder and harder because you're just like, I don't fucking feel like doing this, But then anything I do after, you feel like a fucking $1,000,000. So like, after I do the 5 things on my bitch list, that's when I can do the frivolous shit and the work, right? So I play the piano, I'll practice my Portuguese, I might golf with my husband, I might meet friends for lunch. I'm obviously every day going live on my app and doing and coaching and doing all that kind of stuff. But when you have that bitch list and okay, tomorrow I have to get these 5 things done, and then everything else that I'm going to write on this, in this journal or on this piece of paper is just money, you feel so good about yourself. And what I do is I do that every night, but I also sit down on Sundays and I plan out my week. I sit down quarterly and I plan out my quarter. And I also, like, once a year, I plan out my whole year with goals and dreams and aspirations and milestones and, and frivolous things too, like it doesn't have to be all serious shit. It can be fun stuff, It could be like vacation stuff or, new experiences, or even finding like a new circle of friends or a new community. It doesn't have to be all serious shit, but you gotta plan. And, I always say, fail to plan, plan to fail. And it's fucking true. I hate to say it. People are like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, Katie, to do that. I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah. And it's no work to be a mediocre bitch. So what the fuck do you want? Do you want a fucking ambitious life, or do you want a mediocre meh life? Because 98% of the women that I know are living mediocre motherfucking lives. And you don't have to. You have all of this information at the tips of your fingers. You're just not using the tools, right? The next way to reinvent yourself, and this kind of goes within the reinvention energy, because while you're reinventing yourself, it's going to take a lot of work. You're going to get tired. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to have these moments where you're like, this is not fucking worth it. Fuck this shit. I'm just going to eat the candy. I'm just going to eat the ice cream. I'm just not going to go to the gym. I'm sick of fucking doing cold calls. I'm sick of selling. I'm sick of fucking doing whatever, fill in the blank, right? Dude, even me, I have those thoughts all the time. Like, some days I'll just look at Matt and go, what the fuck am I fucking doing? And Matt will say, Katie, stay the course. And that's why it's so important. We need people like Matt Babines in our lives. And we need supportive people that are not going to blow smoke up your ass. They're going to tell you that you're being a fucking jerk off when you're being a fucking jerk off, right? And they're going to call you to the carpet. Surround yourself with more people that are going to call you to the carpet, and less with people that are just blowing smoke up your ass and telling you that you're fine just the way you are. You're beautiful just the way you are, even though you're 150 pounds overweight and you have all kinds of fucking illness, sickness, and disease. No, you're not fine just the way you are. Sorry to say, okay? Your mother lied to you. So in the midst of this reinvention, I want you to refuel. I want you to fill yourself back up after you're depleted. And the way that you do that is with self-care, listening to your body. Like last week, I had such a big list of shit that I had to get done, and I just felt so exhausted one day, and I just sat on the fucking couch all day just with my fart sweatpants on, the ones that like always smell like farts because they're the ones you always wear every time you have like severe gas because you feel like a fat fuck. Yeah, I know everyone has those sweatpants at home. And I just sat in those sweatpants and I just watched I didn't even watch, this is so funny. I didn't even watch Vanderpump Rules, but because of all the drama around Vanderpump Rules, I just watched the fucking three session reunion, and I was like, damn, I gotta start Vanderpump Rules from the very beginning. But that's just like what I did. And I was like, I didn't feel bad for myself. I was like, you know what? I never do this shit. It's time to take a fucking break, right? So self-care, listening to your body, filling yourself up with your spirituality, right? Like spirituality, divine connection is so important. And the most important thing in my life right now is community. My app is like my safe place. It's a place where I go and I'm vulnerable and I really have incredible conversations with the women there. And it's just such an incredible place to be. And I know that I'm the leader of it, but I get so much out of it. It fills me up so much. Like I was just saying to my online business manager, Kim Fox, I'm like, I finally feel like I am like really in my purpose with what I'm doing. And she was like, that's fucking awesome, dude. I feel full. I can work all day and I don't feel depleted because it's really filling me up. So refuel, fill yourself up. And if you're depleted, listen to your body and just sit in your fart pants. Okay. The next one is resources. And what do I mean by that? Stand on the shoulders of giants. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. I have so many clients that come to me and they're like, you're so good with business. Like, I wish that I could be good with you, like good like you in business. I'm like, okay, then hire me as your business coach. I'll fucking help you. But they're like, I don't know. I don't have the money for that. And I'm like, well, then just be broke for the rest of your life because I'm going to give you the fucking Cliff's Notes that is going to cost you probably 100th of all the time and all the money that you're going to spend just revving your fucking engine and not going anywhere. So standing on the shoulders of giants is so important. Find a coach, find a mentor, right? Find someone that's going to speak victory into you, but is not going to blow smoke up your ass and is not going to lie to you and tell you that you're a special snowflake. Okay? Resources are key. The next thing, how to reinvent yourself. This is another thing that's a lot of people really have a hard time wrapping their head around. You have to paint yourself into a corner and you have to have no way out. Because if you have like an exit strategy every time that things get hard, things get difficult, you feel not so fresh, you're frustrated, you're overwhelmed, and you just have like that exit strategy, you're never, ever, ever going to lead or live and experience an ambitious life. You're just not. Anytime it gets hard, when the rubber meets the road, you're going to give up. And that's just the damn truth. And I've seen it. I've seen incredible women with so much talent and so many gifts just fuck themselves time after time after time because they always have this little trap door that they can just like press a lever and fall through and then they're out. But the only way to the end is through. There's no getting around. And the adversity and the just uncomfortable feelings, that is actually what's going to strengthen you so that when you do become this new person, you're not going to fall apart. You're not going to cave like a fucking cheap tent from Walmart. Okay? So have no way out and just make it like come hell or high water. I'm fucking doing this. I don't give a fuck. You have to say that to yourself. Because if you don't, if things just get a little hairy, you're out of there like lickety split. And I've seen it happen to so many incredible women and it just frustrates me. But you know what? Like more for me, move out of the fucking way. Because there's one thing about me and no one can take this away from me. I will never fucking give up. I don't care how shitty I feel. I don't care how stressed out I am. I don't care how scared I am. I don't care how overwhelmed I am. I said a long time ago, come hell or high water, like I'm doing this and I will never give up. I will not retreat. And you see all these people who, they do something for a month or a week or a year, and then they're like, oh, this is not for me. This is really hard. Well, no shit. But what if you are 3 feet from gold? What if you're 3 feet from gold right when you give up? And I always think about that. And I always think about how I believe that hell is meeting the person that you could have been if only you didn't give up, if only you tried, if only you saw it through to the end. And so that's why you will never see me give up. You will see me reinvent myself time after time after time after time, but I will never give up. I will pivot. I will go back to the drawing board, but you will never see this bitch wave the white flag. It's just never going to fucking happen. The next thing is, this is super important. Get rid of the fucking distractions in your life when you're reinventing yourself. Dude, if every shiny object that twinkles in the moonlight, you're like, whoo, 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 you're never going to fucking do the damn thing. You got to have this one goal, and everything that you do should be around this one goal until the goal is achieved. Like, I can't tell you how many people, and I talk to people all the time, right? I give them an amazing business idea, and then they'll be like, oh my God, that's such a fucking great idea. I was also thinking about opening a hippopotamus sanctuary. I'm like, what the fuck does opening a hippopotamus sanctuary, obviously I'm joking, but this is like how audacious it is and how fucking mental it makes me, because I'm just like, I just gave you $1 million business idea that if I had the time, I could just do it myself, but I don't fucking have the time to do it. But I want you to do it because you deserve to have an ambitious life. You deserve to be wealthy and abundant, but you want to go open up a fucking hippopotamus sanctuary. Okay. Get rid of the fucking distractions. Okay. If it is not helping you, go to the place and get to the place of the goal. It needs to be cut out like fucking cancer. Do you know how many times I write things down because, I have like this rolling journal of all these thoughts and ideas that come up in my head. And then the next day I go back and I laugh out loud. I'm like, what were you smoking yesterday, bitch? This has nothing to do with your fucking goal. This is a fucking distraction. Stop. And I just cross it out with my red pen that I have in my hand right now. So get rid of the fucking distractions. Get rid of the distractions. The next thing, reinventing yourself. Clear space for the good to come in. I can't tell you how many women, just for sake of conversation, that are in the most terrible, disgusting, vile, abusive relationships in my community. And they're like, I'll never meet Prince Charming. I'm like, yeah, I know, because you're married to fucking Chet from Weird Science when he turns into like the thing that like oozes the pus and just turns fucking fat and has and he like eats flies. If you don't know what Weird Science is, I don't care. You need to go watch that movie. It was in the 80s and it was a fucking dope ass movie and it's still dope to this day. But like, what the fuck? You're married to like a goddamn fucking ogre. And you're like, and he's just taking up all the love space in your love bubble. And how can you find the love of your life if you have this big, fat, stupid motherfucker just taking up the space? It doesn't make sense. So you have to clear space. That means clear space with relationships, clear space with friendships, clear space in your home, clear space in your closet, clear space in your business, whatever. Go through the 6 life makers and breakers, read the book, and go through and declutter each part. And I promise you, you will really start achieving your goals quickly, because you got to clear the space. It's a universal law. There's only so much space in the universe. And if it's all taken up by all the pieces of shit assholes in your life, then how are you going to bring in the good people that are actually going to take your life to the next level and help you experience joy in all of your core desired feelings, right? So while you're reinventing yourself, clear that space to let the new, fresh, amazing stuff come in, right? The next thing is assess. When you're reinventing yourself, assess and check in on the metrics and ask yourself, is the thing that I'm doing helping me get closer or further away to the person that I want to be? And if it's further away, you cut it out like cancer. And if it's closer, you double and triple down on it. You keep going on it. Ask yourself, does this thing resonate with me? Does this thing feel right? Check in. We've been talking a lot about this over on my app about, finding your intuitive center again, because we've had it beaten out of us over the last couple hundred years as women. And our intuition doesn't lie. Our gut doesn't lie. So ask yourself, does this feel right? Does this resonate with me? And talk to your higher self and talk to your intuitive center and ask yourself, is this the life that I desire, or am I trying to live someone else's life because I see their shit on social media and it looks fucking cool? Because just because shit looks cool on social media doesn't mean it's fucking cool in real life. Sometimes the people who on social media look like they have it all together, they're fucking falling apart. I just was reading there's a very famous author and speaker, a female, and she got a couple years ago got divorced from her husband, who they used to preach all about like their perfect marriage, and they would teach other people on the perfect marriage, and they got divorced. So that was a huge like upset in her community, which was so sad watching people just attack her online. And then come to find out, he dies. He just drops dead out of the fucking blue after they get divorced. And then it just came out that he was like on cocaine and alcohol and prescription medication 47 times the amount that would like kill a fucking ox, okay? And guess what? I used to look at their lives and read their books and listen to their shit, and I would be like, oh my God, their lives are amazing. Like, I want to do that. I want to have a life like that. I want to speak like that. I want to do that. Last time I checked, the worst thing that Matt Babine does is have a couple martinis a couple days a week, okay? He's not fucking blowing lines and doing speedballs, you know? But you don't see that because they only show you their highlight reel. And so many of you out there are watching other people's lives, being jealous as fuck, and you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So ask yourself, is this the life that I truly want to live? Or am I trying to live someone else's life because it looks good on social? That's a huge question to ask yourself while you're reinventing yourself, because reinvention can be dangerous because it can lead us down paths that are not for us because we see what other people are doing and we're like, oh, that would be cool to do that. Not really. Like Richard Branson, who owns Virgin Airlines and a slew of other companies, at any one moment, he's being sued by like 50 or 60 different companies. I'm not cut out for that. I know that for a fact. So that's why I keep my business small and very tribal and very community oriented, because I know personally that I'm not equipped for that lifestyle. But you know how many people will be like, I want to be like Richard Branson, or I want to be like Elon Musk, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. No, you fucking don't, because you couldn't handle the repercussions. You couldn't handle the shit sandwiches that go along with living that life. And I had to come to that really hard conclusion, like probably about 10 years ago, where I was like trying to live all these other people's lives. And I was like, ew, I don't even like this. This doesn't even feel good to me. But I was so hell bent on looking a certain way in the public arena that I was selling my own self down the river in the meantime, right? So reinvention is so important. We should have death and rebirth and reinvention many, many, many times in our lives. And I challenge myself all the time to think outside the box, to constantly be in reinventing myself on all levels. And I hope that you heard this and you can take a lot from it and then put your feet down in the earth, ground, so that you can also reinvent yourself, so that you can go to the next level and be more ambitious every day. So obviously, you guys know this is a free service I do every week for each and every one of you. The only ask that I really come here and ask is for, if you loved this podcast and you feel like it could help other women, just share it on your social media, text the links to friends, email it to your partner, your colleagues, your coworkers, and just really be crusaders for this Ambitchious movement. Because the more women that we get to join this Ambitchious movement and learn how to be ambitious and learn how to step into their power and learn how to be the HBICs of their most ambitious lives, like the world is just going to be a better place, just point blank. So that's the only ask that I have here. Other than that, I just am so grateful for all of you coming here week after week, listening to this bitch just ramble about I don't even know what, but my heart is pure and I'm doing this for all the right reasons. And I know that the real ones know that. So in the meantime, share, and don't forget to stay ambitious. And I will see you next Tuesday.